What's going on, everybody? AQ Devi here. Thank you so much for joining me, and today is a very special day. If you have not heard, the final relic for Ashes of the Damned has been found, and today we will attempt to obtain it and see just how it plays. I don't want to spend too much time on preamble here, so if at any point you find yourself enjoying this video, a like, comment, subscribe are always appreciated, but without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, here we are, and for my understanding, we are supposed to feed Chompy weapons in ascending rarity order. And of course that means we'll have to begin with our gray starting pistol. And then as we go, we will move up to common green, uncommon blue, epic purple, and legendary orange. And then at round 40 or above, we will feed Chompy some sort of wonder weapon and go from there. All right, and we got a green AK, which means we can already start this process by getting rid of our what? Not quite sure why we can't feed Chompy yet. I don't know if there's any kind of round restriction or anything that doesn't follow with what I know about it. All I know is at some point we will be able to feed Chompy this pistol and then get this whole thing started. All right, there we go. Goodbye, gray rarity pistol. It is only up from here. God, there was almost an aspect of me that was expecting this to go even longer without being solved. I am so shocked that this day has finally come. I also just want to give a massive shout out to our killer who first solved this relic. I have to imagine they are on top of the world right now. It's definitely been one of the most sought after relics, not just because it's the last, but it has a very interesting effect attached to it. If you guys don't know, the Relic's effect is to cycle through guns every round, I believe. And of course it keeps the same pack-a-punch level and rarity, but it's almost like a gun game style mode at that point. And now all that's left to do is to find the final 3 relics on Astra, as well as find the true method to getting the Civil Protector head. And while the relic hunts have been so exciting and fascinating since the cursed mode dropped, oh my gosh. I have to imagine that the people hunting them are taking a very large sigh of relief. Massive kudos to everyone that made the solve possible. You can now take a well-needed rest for the moment. All right, I'm gonna see if we can't spin for a blue gun at round 8. There we go. And definitely one of the better guns in BO7 Zombies. We'll also insert our green weapon. Thank you, Chompy. And just because the Nova line is so good in this game, I went ahead and pack-a-punched it just because I expect us to hold on to this thing for a little bit. Also, while we're on the topic of cursed mode, has anyone else noticed that they nerfed the Akita's point gain in this mode? Like, I don't know if I'm crazy or not, but I don't think they posted anything about it in any patch notes recently, but I definitely feel like they lessened the amount of points we get from pellet guns. I don't know, could just be me. I think it's probably better for balance that way, but man, does it make this mode drag a little bit more, but that's okay. And actually this might even be the gun that we just hold on to till the end and make legendary, and in the meantime we can feed it some stuff from the box. There we go. Oh my gosh. You're kidding me. Well, in theory, that should speed up this process a lot, not having to spin for a wonder weapon. Oh my gosh. I really wish that mission tracker would disappear. Maybe if I get power at Blackwater. Let me check that out. I tried getting rid of it in the settings and it didn't do anything. And I especially don't know why it's there with no information on it. Like, what is the point of that? All right, what do we got? You're kidding me. Unfortunately, I prefer the Mark 1 in this game, and I don't think I can feed that to Chompy right now without messing up the flow of doing this whole relic thing. I swear I never have this kind of luck anytime I'm actually going for a far run, so that's nice. Maybe we can go ahead and get this Ravager to eat it and get some salvage out of it. Thank you, sir. Give me the goods. Thank you. I just heard a Xerxes spawn and I realized I probably need some armor. Nope, sit down. The Mangler Cannon trial, probably one of the most inconsistent trials in my opinion. Sometimes it's super duper close and other times I get it legendary in literally one shot. Although no matter what, hearing all of those hit marker sounds is so satisfying. Oh my gosh. Eeks. I don't want to lose that, but I was really trying to get Mule Kick in case I got anything good. What's the move here? A lot of perks. I mean, I'll probably get Mule Kick from this thing anyways. Actually, we will just pop that on right about now. Take care of business here. Question is, can we find a purple weapon right now? No, but we can find Mr. Peaks. Thanks, man. He giveth and he taketh away. The truest agent of chaos. Oh, he's taking the ray gun. It's fine. I still have one, but at least give me the salvage, man. It's unfortunate I didn't get that on round 40 because then I could just get rid of the one and keep the next one. Another Mr. Peaks. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Can we get something purple? Yes, we can. All right, we'll ditch the purple codas and we only have 2 more steps here. Of course, having to get to round 40 though is going to be the big thing. All that's left now to do is to send a legendary gun through, and I don't want to get rid of my Nova line, so maybe I'm going to get screwed, of course. All right, and on round 31, we are going to ditch the final legendary rarity and try to get to round 40, which shouldn't be too far from now. Thankfully, we already have the ray gun in hand, of course, and once that's done, we should be able to enter the trial. You're never gonna believe it, but I actually got another ray gun, and I know it's gonna disappear before we can get to 40. They are just teasing me with this. All right, round 40, here we are. I'm just really hoping once we feed this ray gun to Chompy that the trial will open. And actually, I'm forgetting that Chompy isn't even active at this moment because it is a Ravager round. And it still won't let me get to Chompy on 41. What a scam. On, why can't I get in? What is with that? Like, clearly I don't know how Chompy works on Ashes. Is it only like certain ones are active on the map at one time? We're gonna go ahead and see if it is active here at the diner though. It is. Oh. And I heard a laugh. Okay. Get out of here. I see it. I see the trial. I am going to go ahead and pack-a-punch this thing one more time just so we have full ammo and power for this trial, as well as we might as well get some golden armor. All right, let's do it. Now, I do have to be careful on my ammo usage just because the ammo crates are disabled as well as max ammos. Thankfully, this thing is stupid strong, especially when it's maxed out in power like it is. Right, HVTs. Oh man. Thankfully, they do go down pretty quick. I'd also say Vulturade is huge here just because we are getting small little ammo drops here and there to keep us going. As well, you can kill these guys pretty quick and they will also drop some ammo packets. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. No. I need to quit backing myself up like that. All right, we're on the last stage. I'm sure it's going to be more HVTs. 1 down. 2 down. Let's go. The curse trial is complete. Oh my gosh, and a calling card. Let's go. And we get the Samantha's Drawing Relic. Wait, what? Why is there an Uber Klaus? What? What in the world? Why? I'm so confused right now. Did I kill him? And he dropped the stabilizer chip. What? What just happened? All right, guys, so what I'm going to do is exfil here, and then we will go back in and see just how this relic plays. All right, guys, here we are with the Samantha's Drawing Relic active, and I figured we'd switch to Astrum Alarm just to mix things up a bit. Whoa. Okay. Well, it did exactly what it said on the tin. It is going to switch my weapons every single round. And even aside from keeping your pack-a-punch level and rarity, I'm wondering how useful this is as far as ammo goes. So this round I am going to try to get us kind of low on ammo. It looked like we swapped and it was lower than I would expect it to be. So I imagine when it swaps, it gives you around the same amount of ammo or a fair amount compared to what you had. Yes, okay, that totally makes sense. I was gonna say, if not, that is a cheap way to get unlimited ammo essentially in this mode, which would in turn then negate completely the ammo cache relic, which I always keep on. I think that's probably the better of the tier 3 relics. And we'll go ahead and get another weapon, not just because we're out of ammo, but just to see what we all get. And we're back to the Nova line. Okay. Not for long, though, I imagine. All right, we have an empty breacher and a razorback. This is so weird. A big question I have is what happens if you have a wonder weapon, though? Maybe it swaps between wonder weapons, or maybe it just swaps to a legendary weapon and then continues cycling through normal legendary weapons. That would be kind of lame. Or probably the most likely scenario is it doesn't mess with the wonder weapons at all, but I hope we are able to find out. Right, now we're to the Ravager and the AK. I've actually never used the Ravager just yet. Oh my gosh, and it penetrates. It does not hold a lot of ammo though. Thank you, sir. And I figure there's no good reason not to pack-a-punch our higher rarity weapon. Definitely not a bad weapon to switch to for this trial specifically. And one detail I didn't even think about is the fact that it does use your zombie build, which is awesome. Mule kick, okay. This just got a little bit more interesting. No, 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 no. You're kidding me. Oh my gosh. I'm so lucky I had a pistol. Oh my gosh. Come on, come on. All right, there's number 2. The Akita. Great pick, but it won't last long. All right, here we go. We got the wonder weapon. Now the question is, does this swap on the next round? All right, it did not swap. It looks like wonder weapons do not swap, which honestly I think is a fair compromise for this relic. And of course I went down. The only thing left to see is how far we can get. I stand completely corrected. I got a ray gun from a TED trial, and as you can see, it became this, which that is a bit of a shame. I'm just hoping that there is a chance when guns are legendary to revert back into a ray gun or a ray gun Mark II. Alright, just got a ray gun Mark II out of another trial, so I'm gonna go ahead and test and make sure that it wasn't some sort of fluke or glitch that the ray gun swapped. Alright, let's check and see. Well, first of all, it's not even rendering the gun, but it did swap it to a legendary. That is so unfortunate. And I'm thinking about the fact that after it swapped the original ray gun to a legendary, I've now upgraded it to Ultra, and I'm wondering if there even is that ability to go back to the ray gun. If it swaps back to a normal gun, would that go to legendary or ultra? So at this point, it looks like the only wonder weapons on the table are the map specific ones, because in what I've seen, those do not swap between rounds. I actually got 2 launchers on this round, and I'm almost noticing that when the weapons do swap, there is sometimes a sort of consistency. I don't know if that's random or not, but there are rounds where 2 or 3 of my guns will all be shotguns. Like I said, I don't know if that's intentional or it's just the luck of the draw. In my opinion, though, I would definitely prefer it to be completely random if possible, instead of shoehorning in any kind of like set weapon class for a specific round. Alright guys, so instead of exfilling, I'm actually going to keep this game as a save and just jump to the main menu and give you guys my final thoughts on the Samantha's Drawing Relic. Alright, so really quick, as for the quest itself, it is pretty straightforward and simple, I would say, and ultimately I don't have any complaints about it. The only restriction it seems to apply is not being able to use Chompy at your disposal during that game where you're trying to go for the relic. As for the relic itself, it does feel very new game mode-esque. And while I could see them making something like this a limited time mode or even a permanent mode, the existence of this relic ultimately makes that redundant. Ultimately, this relic can make the game more fun, and honestly, I just can't wait to hop back in and try it out some more. As far as negatives are concerned, the main thing that popped out to me, of course, was the fact that the Ray Gun and Ray Gun Mark II are not permanent and will be swapped into, thankfully at least, a legendary rarity weapon. And that is a very interesting compromise they decided to make for this relic, in that the ray guns do swap, but the map specific wonder weapon persists through the rounds. All I can say is that when this relic is active, it will definitely make you question whether or not to use those wonder bar gobblegums. But that's about it, guys. Comment down below and let me know, have you obtained the Samantha's Drawing relic, and how do you feel about how it plays and ultimately changes the mode when you have it active? With all that said, thank you guys so much for watching till the end of the video. Go follow me on Twitter at AQDevi, and if at any point you found yourself enjoying this video, a like, comment, subscribe are always appreciated. But I've been AQDevi, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.